Hello, this is a compilation video. It's a compilation video about growing garlic. In this video you'll see me harvest garlic from a bucket and from a bag. I then store that garlic. When the time's ready, I split the cloves from the garlic bulbs. Some we store to eat later, some we take and plant in 10-inch buckets to grow on again. Today I have a couple of issues with that garlic. We've gone through autumn, we've gone through winter, we've gone through spring, and we're now in the middle of summer. There's a couple of things I want to show you, and a couple of things I want to discuss about growing garlic in buckets and growing garlic in bags. If you're a follower of mine, you'll know that I've been running a small-scale trial this year. I grow a lot of vegetables in buckets, but I purchased some fabric bags and I wanted to try out the fabric bags against the buckets. Which was best? Grow vegetables in bags, grow vegetables in buckets. So whatever vegetable I planted in the bucket, I planted the same vegetables in the bag. And the idea would be, at the end of the growing cycle, we'd harvest the bucket and we'd harvest the bag and we'd make a comparison and see if one was better than the other. I'm going to cut you back to some video now that I shot earlier in the year, where I had garlic growing in a bucket and garlic growing in a bag, and I harvested them together and we made that comparison. This is the garlic, incidentally, that came out of that bucket and bag, and this garlic is now going to go full circle, because when you come back to me, we're going to open these garlic bulbs up, we're going to expose the cloves, we're going to choose some, then we're going outdoors to plant some. So the garlic will have gone full circle. Enjoy the video, then come back to me. There's the root ball that's produced by 4 garlic. Okay, so we've got roots from about there to there. It's shot through with roots, most of them at the bottom of this ball. Right, let's break it open and say, oh, there was one other thing I meant to mention. These garlic cloves were planted at a depth of 4 inches. I've done that because I'd asked on a number of occasions for people who had grown garlic successfully to tell me what the planting depth was, and the number said about 4 inches. So these cloves are in about 4 inches, should be about there. This might be easier said than done. Oh no, we're breaking open now. Oh, smell that garlic, blimey. Here they come, here they come. Yeah, here they come. Well, these look a decent garlic, to be honest. They look as good as anything I've produced. How's that looking? 4 heads of garlic from a 10-inch water bucket. Right, let's put these to one side and let's get the bag into the batter. Okay, this is the bag. There we go. And put that bag to one side. Hey, these look good garlic. Let me just take the soil off. Hey, 4 garlic grown in a small fibre bag. I think we're happy with those as well, and there is definitely cloves being produced in this garlic. I can see the lumps and the bumps. So that's how we got to where we are today. This is the garlic. It's dried off nicely now. We're going to open these garlic bulbs up. We're going to select some cloves that we're going to grow on this year. So this is autumn planted garlic. So this will be planted now at the beginning of autumn. It will go through autumn, through winter, through spring, into summer, and fingers crossed we'll harvest it again early summer of next year. Okay, I'll best just put that stuff up there, otherwise you won't actually see what's going on here. And this incidentally is a hard neck garlic. The soft neck garlic, I've never grown it, and if I can get these skins off here and show you this is the way you would recognise hard neck garlic if you hadn't seen it before. Okay, so these garlic cloves are actually sitting on a pedestal. That's the hard neck coming right up off the pedestal, and these garlic cloves are sitting on that pedestal, so when we break them off you would see that pedestal and this hard neck remains. On soft neck garlic you don't just have one ring of garlic cloves, you have an inner ring of garlic cloves, and there's no hard neck protruding. Hey, there you go. So there's your lesson in garlic. This is going to take a while, so what I'm going to do is I'll only just strip this one off on camera, and then I'll strip the rest off camera, and then I'll show you what we've got. Okay, otherwise you're going to be bored witless just watching me strip these garlics, aren't you? Yes you are. Right, so there's that pedestal. That's what they were all sitting on. And if it was soft neck garlic you wouldn't get that, you'd get more garlic cloves and no hard neck. Let me just put these on my hand, see if I can offer them up. And this is what we got from one garlic bulb. That's what we got. Now, as I've said, I'm going to strip the rest. We're going to do the lot now. We're going to select the ones we want to grow on, and the ones we don't want to grow on, they'll be used in the kitchen. Okay, let's do this. That's it then, all done. Lots of mess here, as you can see. I'll need to tidy this up before we do much more. But we are going out shortly and we are going to plant some of this garlic. I've saved the last one to do on camera. So most of these garlic bulbs would produce at least half a dozen cloves. Half a dozen garlic cloves. So let's count this one just as an example. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 garlic cloves from that one garlic bulb. You'd have to say, I mean, growing these in buckets and bags, it's so easy. You should give it a go. Give it a go. You don't need a lot of room. You don't need a big backyard. You don't need to have an allotment. You don't need raised beds. You just need somewhere to stand buckets and bags. Anywhere in your garden. And they take no looking after really. They look after themselves. I just use a soil-based compost that I'll probably add some blood, fish and bone to, or maybe some onion fertiliser. Anything. Any basic fertiliser. Then just plant them. Let them get established. There's usually enough rain through autumn and winter. You hardly need to water them. And yeah, you'll be harvesting these in the summer of next year, early summer. Right, garlic. Hey, if this works, you might never need to buy garlic again. Ever. Well, why would you? If you grow your own, then 12 months later plant it again. Grow your own, then 12 months later plant it again. You might never need to buy garlic again. Okay, so this is recycled soil. You'll see some very fine roots left in it. This may have grown onions earlier this year, may have grown leeks, judging by those fine roots. But what I've done is I've emptied the bucket out and reinvigorated it with some leek and onion fertiliser, a granular fertiliser, and I'm sure that'll be good for garlic just as it would be good for leeks and onions. So we're only going to go with 4 because we know 4 works because we've done it before. And it's as simple as this. Pointy end up, blunt end down, shove them in. Shove them in. How deep? Please yourself. I think mine were 4 inches last year. That looks to be about 2 inches. Yeah, let's give them a go. 2 inches this year. I'm going to do some more of these, by the way, but not on camera. This is possibly a fairly lengthy video by now. I don't want to bore the socks off you. So we'll call it a day when I've pushed this last one in. Okay, now I have no intention of watering these. This soil is quite moist, and what would be the point of watering something that doesn't have roots? These garlic cloves don't have roots. They can't take water up, can they? Want to throw some roots down. So we'll give them a week or 2 in this bucket, and then we'll give them a light drink on the assumption that they've put out a few roots, and then we'll see how that goes. These 4 garlic cloves have been in this bucket just over 4 months now. I make it about 18 weeks. This one came through a few weeks ago. These 3 came through a few days ago. This bucket has stood out in this cold greenhouse through autumn, and we're now in midwinter here at Homegrown Veg in the United Kingdom. I did see earlier in the video that once these garlic had shoots and had roots, I'd start watering these buckets, but I've not had a need to do that because this greenhouse has gotten so damp with condensation over the autumn and winter months. This soil has always stayed moist, and so there was no need to water them. So this bucket has never been watered, at least not yet. This is the garlic that I planted 6 months ago. So this is 6 months worth of growth through the 6 coldest months of the year, through autumn and through winter, and this is what we've got to show. But I must say these are really low maintenance. You don't need to do anything with them. I haven't actually watered these at all, and they've been in these buckets for 6 months, and the soil is still quite moist. I don't know if you can see this, but it does stick to your fingers. There's still quite a bit of moisture in that soil, so I've had no need to water these, and they've stood in a cold greenhouse. But I've moved them out now because we're moving into early spring here at Homegrown Veg in the United Kingdom. So the weather's going to warm up. Hopefully this growth is going to speed up, and I will need to give these a drink of water. Let's go and have a look at these 2 issues. We've got Meg with us, so that should be fun. Let's do it. Okay, so there are 2 issues I want to talk about today with this garlic. We're not far off actually harvesting this garlic, probably a month or 2, but it's got covered in this rust. You should be able to see that there's plenty of it, but it's easy enough to remove some of it by just taking away a couple of outer skins. I mean, that's easy enough done. But yeah, look at all the rust around that collar. Can you see it? Now, there are products on the market that you can spray your garlic with, but I'm reluctant to spend any money for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I'm not too sure it would have time to work. As I've said, these are going to be harvested in a month or 2. But secondly, I'm not too sure that this rust actually affects the growth of the garlic bulb on the bottom of this garlic. I just don't know. So we might be trying to fix something. Oops. We might be trying to fix something that doesn't need fixed, or at least it's too late to fix. You know, we're too far along the road for that. So that's one. That's this rust issue that I've got. And secondly, have you seen these before? 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 garlic plants, and we've got, here we go, move that leaf so you don't get confused. We've got 4 garlic scapes. Basically what that is, that's the garlic wanting to put up a seed head. That's what it's wanting to do, a bit like your onions do. The garlic's wanting to put up a seed head. So it's near the end of the road for this garlic, but one of the things that will happen is that a lot of the energy that would go into swelling those garlic cloves, those garlic bulbs, will now go into these scapes if we leave them on. So I'm going to take them off. I don't want them. I want all the energy to go in to the garlic bulb, the cloves. So I'm just going to snip them off. Now, these are edible. Yep, they're definitely edible. So, if you want to know a bit more about that, you'll possibly need to go to another channel and find somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to eating garlic scapes. Because I've never done it, and I'm not proposing to do it. Okay. And they're easily recognisable. You can see that the seed head's starting to form. If we let that form, it'll produce a flower. Flower gets pollinated, produces seeds, just like an onion, just like a leek. But these are not going to be producing any flowers or seeds this year. Any year for that matter. Right, so that's the 2 issues I wanted to discuss with you in this video. We've sorted that out. We put this to one side now, and we'll let it go another month or two, and then we'll harvest the garlic. And the garlic will really then have gone full circle, won't it? It will have gone full circle. Now, one thing I want to show you before we call it a day here is, let me move this garlic out the way. Excuse me, Meg. Oh, where's that ball? There it is. What I want to show you is, this is the buckets that I grow in. People ask me, how big are they? Well, this might be a best way of showing you. They're that big, 10 inch, by that big, 10 inch. So these are the buckets. Now, when I tell you this, I think you probably want to go back into the video, the part where I harvest the garlic in the barrow. When I harvest the garlic from the bucket and expose the root ball, I hold the root ball up to the camera, and as you can see, typically the roots have gone round and round and round till they hit the bottom, and then continued going round and round. It's what you expect with a bucket or a pot or a solid container. This is one of those bags. Now I hope you can see this, but there are lots of dried roots still in the bottom of this bag that broke off when whatever was growing in it was harvested. They left some of the roots behind. And they do that because the roots try to penetrate the fabric. They try to grow through the fabric. And if they do grow through the fabric, they get air pruned. Have you heard that expression before? Air pruned? Well, I'm not so sure that it's an advantage for a plant to be air pruned, but I think there's evidence of air pruning if you look at the root ball of the garlic that comes out of the bag. It's flat on the bottom and there is no spiraling of the root. It doesn't go round and round. I think it just goes through the base of the bag and then it's burned off by the air. Hey, how about that? That might be the first time you've ever seen air pruning in action. It is for me, and I'm not convinced that it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not convinced either way. I just know that it happens because I've seen it with my own eyes, and now you have. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to pop back indoors, finish that cup of tea, and then we're going to play with my mate. I'm going to give Meg a run up and down this garden, and hopefully not crashing into any of the flower beds. And a Meg, yep. I mean, when I throw this ball, this dog catches it. She should be in the slips for England. Oh, dropped that one. That ball just flew right in among my broad beans and Meg just flew in after it. Imagine the carnage. Come on, Meg, where you at? Let's go and have this cup of tea. Where's she disappeared to? Come on, leave that there, we'll have a cup of tea. Come on.